Premiership of Theresa May. Aftermath of Brexit. First Ministry, Majority, 2017 General Election. Second Ministry, Minority. Government of the United Kingdom. Theresa Mary May, born October 1, 1956, is a British politician serving as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and leader of the Conservative Party since 2016. She was first elected Member of Parliament for Maidenhead in the general election of 1997. Ideologically, she identifies herself as a one-nation conservative. The daughter of Zadie Brazier, née Barnes, and Hubert Brazier, a vicar, May grew up in Oxfordshire. From 1977 until 1983, she worked for the Bank of England, and from 1985 until 1997 at the Association for Payment Clearing Services, also serving as a councillor for Durnsford in Merton. After unsuccessful attempts to be elected to the House of Commons in 1992 and 1994, she was elected as the MP for Maidenhead in the 1997 general election. From 1999 to 2010, May held a number of roles in the shadow cabinets of William Hague, Ian Duncan Smith, Michael Howard, and David Cameron, including Shadow Transport Secretary and Shadow Work and Pensions Secretary. She was also chairman of the Conservative Party from 2002 to 2003. After the formation of a coalition government following the 2010 general election, May was appointed Home Secretary and Minister for Women and Equalities, giving up the latter role in 2012. Reappointed after the Conservative victory in the 2015 general election, she went on to become the longest-serving Home Secretary since James Chuter Ede over 60 years previously. During her tenure she pursued reform of the Police Federation, implemented a harder line on drugs policy including the banning of khat, oversaw the introduction of elected police and crime commissioners, the deportation of Abu Qatada, the creation of the National Crime Agency and brought in additional restrictions on immigration. Following Cameron's resignation, May won a leadership election in July 2016, becoming the second female Prime Minister after Margaret Thatcher. As Prime Minister, May began the process of withdrawing the UK from the European Union, triggering Article 50 in March 2017. In April 2017, May announced an early general election in June, with the aim of strengthening her hand in Brexit negotiations. This resulted in a hung parliament, in which the number of Conservative seats fell from 330 to 317, prompting her to broker a confidence and supply deal with Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party to support May's minority government. Early life and education. Born on October 1, 1956 in Eastbourne, Sussex, May is the only child of Zadie Mary, née Barnes, 1928 to 1982, and Hubert Brazier, 1917 to 1981. Her father was a Church of England clergyman, and an Anglo-Catholic who was chaplain of an Eastbourne hospital. He later became Vicar of Enstone with Haythrop and finally of St Mary's at Wheatley, to the east of Oxford. May's mother was a strong supporter of the Conservative Party. The Church of St Mary the Virgin, Wheatley, where May's father was vicar and where May married. May was educated primarily in the state sector but with a short spell at an independent Catholic school. She initially attended Haythrop Primary School, a state school in Haythrop, followed by St Juliana's Convent School for Girls, a Roman Catholic independent school in Bigbroke, which closed in 1984. When she was 13, May won a place at the former Holton Park Girls' Grammar School, a state school in Wheatley. During her time as a pupil, the Oxfordshire education system was reorganised and the school became the new Wheatley Park Comprehensive School. May then attended the University of Oxford where she read geography at St Hugh's College, graduating with a second-class BA degree in 1977. Early career. Between 1977 and 1983 May worked at the Bank of England, and from 1985 to 1997 as a financial consultant and senior advisor in international affairs at the Association for Payment Clearing Services. She married Philip May in September 1980. Her father died in a car accident in 1981 and her mother of multiple sclerosis the following year. May later stated she was sorry they never saw me elected as a member of parliament. May served as a councillor for Durnsford Ward on the London Borough of Merton from 1986 to 1994, where she was Chairman of Education, 1988 to 90, and Deputy Group Leader and Housing Spokesman, 1992 to 94. In the 1992 general election, May stood unsuccessfully for the safe Labour seat of North West Durham, coming second to incumbent MP Hilary Armstrong by 12,747 votes, 27.6%, to 26,734, 57.8%, with future Liberal Democrat leader Tim Farron coming third. May then stood at the 1994 Barking by-election, which was prompted by the death of Labour MP Joe Richardson. The seat had been continuously held by Labour since it was created in 1945, and Labour candidate Margaret Hodge was expected to win easily, which she did, with 13,704 votes, 72.1%. May came a distant third with 1,976 votes, 10.4%. Ahead of the 1997 general election, May was selected as the Conservative candidate for Maidenhead, a new seat which was created from parts of the seats of Windsor and Maidenhead and Wokingham. She was elected with 25,344 votes, 49.8%, almost double the total of second-placed Andrew Terence Ketteringham of the Liberal Democrats, who took 13,363 votes, 26.3%. Early political career. Having entered Parliament, May became a member of William Hague's frontbench opposition team, as shadow spokesman for schools, disabled people and women, 1998 to 1999. She became the first of the 1997 MPs to enter the shadow cabinet when in 1999 she was appointed Shadow Education and Employment Secretary. After the 2001 election, the new Conservative leader Ian Duncan Smith kept her in the shadow cabinet, moving her to the transport portfolio. May was appointed the first female chairman of the Conservative Party in July 2002. During her speech at the 2002 Conservative Party conference, she explained why, in her view, her party must change. "You know what people call us? The Nasty Party." In 2003, she was sworn of the Privy Council and appointed Shadow Secretary of State for Transport after Michael Howard's election as Conservative Party and Opposition leader in November that year. In June 2004 she was moved to become Shadow Secretary of State for the Family. Following the 2005 general election, she was also made Shadow Secretary of State for Culture, Media, and Sport. David Cameron appointed her shadow leader of the House of Commons in December 2005 after his accession to the leadership. In January 2009, May was made Shadow Secretary of State for Work and Pensions. On May 6, 2010, May was re-elected MP for Maidenhead with an increased majority of 16,769 to 60% of the vote. This followed an earlier failed attempt to unseat her in 2005 as one of the Liberal Democrats' leading decapitation strategy targets. Home Secretary. Main article, Home Office under Theresa May. May with David Cameron, May 2010. On May 12, 2010, when May was appointed Home Secretary and Minister for Women and Equality by Prime Minister David Cameron as part of his first cabinet, she became the fourth woman to hold one of the British great offices of state, after Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister, Margaret Beckett, Foreign Secretary, and Jackie Smith, Home Secretary. As Home Secretary, May was also a member of the National Security Council. She was the longest-serving Home Secretary for over 60 years, since James Chuter Ede, who served over 6 years and 2 months from August 1945 to October 1951. May's appointment as Home Secretary was somewhat unexpected, with Chris Grayling having served as Shadow Home Secretary in opposition. May's debut as Home Secretary involved overturning several of the previous Labour government's measures on data collection and surveillance in England and Wales. By way of a government bill which became the Identity Documents Act 2010, she brought about the abolition of the Labour government's National Identity Card and Database Scheme and reformed the regulations on the retention of DNA samples for suspects and controls on the use of CCTV cameras. In May 2010, May announced the adjournment of the deportation to the United States of alleged computer hacker Gary McKinnon. She also suspended the registration scheme for carers of children and vulnerable people, with May saying that the measures were draconian. You are assumed to be guilty.